Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that has spent the last 2 decades trapped in a beautiful identity crisis. Once the face of rebellion in the NFL, just win baby, silver and black mystique, Al Davis in sunglasses scowling from a luxury box. The Raiders were iconic. They were edgy, unruly, electric. But somewhere between relocations, disappointing seasons, and a rotating cast of forgettable quarterbacks, that identity got lost. Vegas may have given the team a flashy new zip code, but the soul? That was still searching for something, or someone, to revive it. Enter Shedeur Sanders. And a record-smashing, system-breaking, league-altering move that no one saw coming, yet somehow made perfect sense. Because when the Raiders handed Shedeur Sanders an $80 million guaranteed deal, the highest ever for a rookie quarterback, they weren't just signing a player.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
They were resurrecting a legacy. This wasn't a contract. It was a coup. A seismic power play that broke all the rules and left the rest of the NFL scrambling for their inhalers. And the best part? It was fast. Surgical. No leaks, no hesitation. Just boom, Vegas is all in. Let's rewind for a moment. Before the chaos. Before the league-wide panic. Before jersey sales exploded and fan bases split into warring factions on Reddit. Because this story starts with one question. How did we get here? Shedeur Sanders was already turning heads at Colorado, poised, precise, and polished beyond his years. Not just a quarterback, but a product. A presence. The son of Coach Prime, raised in lights, thriving under pressure, born to dominate a headline. Teams knew he was the future. What they didn't know, or couldn't accept, is that the future wasn't waiting for their approval. Vegas, to their credit, got it. While other franchises dragged their feet, whispering about readiness and fit, the Raiders were clearing cap space and printing the welcome banners. They didn't just pursue Shedeur, they claimed him. And in doing so, they shattered every notion of how rookie quarterbacks should be acquired, developed, and paid. Because let's be real. $80 million guaranteed for a rookie? That's not just unheard of. That's unthinkable. Until now. And yet, somehow, feels exactly right. Because this isn't a traditional rookie. This is a player who's already lived more media cycles than most 10-year vets. Who understands branding, pressure, and scrutiny better than most general managers. Who walks into the NFL not as a question mark, but as a fully formed phenomenon. And the Raiders? They needed a phenomenon. Think about where this franchise has been. Since their last Super Bowl appearance in 2002, it's been a revolving door of quarterbacks, coaches, and collapsed expectations. Derek Carr was fine. Jimmy G was a band-aid. The coaching carousel? An actual punchline. Vegas needed more than a decent player. They needed a face, a leader, a storyline. And now, they've got the most compelling one in football. Let's be honest, the league isn't just reacting. It's spiraling. The Shedeur signing didn't just shock NFL Twitter, it lit it on fire. Analysts, fans, executives, your uncle who still talks about the 1983 Raiders? Everyone's got an opinion. Is it brilliant? Is it reckless? Is it the dawn of a new era or just another Vegas gamble destined to implode? And that uncertainty? That electricity? That's exactly the point. The NFL has been aching for a shakeup. A little less suit and tie, a little more chaos. And Shedeur Sanders just walked in with a cigar, a playbook, and 80 million reasons why he doesn't need to play by anyone else's rules. But let's pause here for a moment. Because while the headlines are all about Vegas boldness, let's not forget the other team in this story. Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland. They had him. Not literally signed, but close. Close enough to feel it. Close enough to imagine it. Shedeur in orange and brown. The fresh face that could have pulled the Browns out of their eternal fog of dysfunction. And then, they hesitated. They did what Cleveland does. They overthought, second-guessed, lost grip. And now, they're back in quarterback limbo. Watching from afar as Vegas does what they should have done. Bet big, bet fast, and bet bold. It's a cautionary tale, really. A masterclass in what happens when old-school thinking meets new-era talent, and flinches. Meanwhile, Vegas isn't flinching at all. They're building the offense around Shedeur. Weapons, line protection, media strategy, even brand partnerships. You think this deal stops at football? Oh no. This is a multi-platform investment. Because that's the thing about Shedeur. He's not just a football player. He's content. He's culture. He's currency. And Vegas knows it. They're not just planning for week one. They're planning for 10 years of dominance. 4 Super Bowl runs and sneaker deals and highlight reels that rack up 30 million views before halftime ends. And here's the wildest part. He hasn't even played a snap yet. No NFL touchdowns. No Rookie of the Week awards. No post-game interviews where he coolly dismantles a defense in 2 sentences or less. But the impact? It's already happening. Franchises are revisiting their scouting departments. Executives are rewriting their rookie contract templates. Agents are having the Shedeur conversation with every up-and-coming quarterback client. It's not if this deal changes the league. It already did. So what's next? That's the thrill of it, isn't it? We're staring down the barrel of one of the most high-stakes NFL experiments in modern history. If Shedeur succeeds, and let's be real, the odds are in his favor, he becomes the prototype. The model every young quarterback, every media-savvy athlete, every NFL team with a hole at QB will try to copy. And if he doesn't? Well, even that's a win for Vegas. Because they've already bought back something more valuable than any stat line. Relevance. This franchise is talked about again. Feared again. Watched again. And in the NFL? That's half the battle. But don't mistake relevance for contentment. Vegas didn't sign Shedeur to go viral. They signed him to win. To burn the old system down and build something louder, faster, sharper in its place. They're not hoping for a miracle. They're planning a takeover. So buckle up. Because the Shedeur-Sanders era isn't coming. It's already here. Now let's hear from you. Did the Raiders just rewrite the future of the quarterback position? Or did they jump the gun on a flashy name with too much hype? Is this deal the start of a dynasty, or the boldest football fantasy we've ever seen? Drop your take in the comments. Let's debate, dissect, and maybe throw in a few mock GM decisions of our own. And if you live for the chaos, the headlines, the hot takes, and the wildest moments in sports history, hit that subscribe button. Smash that bell. And stick with us, because if the NFL is a drama, we've just reached the season finale twist. And trust me, the next episode is going to be unreal. What the Raiders just did isn't a one-and-done splash. This is the kind of move that reshapes how teams build, how players negotiate, and how the entire sport markets itself for the next decade. This wasn't a draft pick. This was a line in the sand. A warning shot. A dare. Because what Las Vegas is really saying is, we're done being safe. We're done playing catch-up. We are rewriting the formula before the rest of the league even wakes up. And whether you love the Raiders or love to hate them, you have to respect the sheer audacity of this move. Because this is not just about Shedeur-Sanders. It's about power. Who has it, who lost it, and who's suddenly realizing they're not as in control as they thought. Let's talk about the NFL machine for a second. This is a league built on process. Draft boards. Prospect interviews. Combined metrics. 1,000 boxes to check before a team even considers handing a player franchise QB money. But here comes Shedeur. A 21-year-old with a rocket arm, a camera-ready smile, and more confidence than most franchises have had in the last 10 years, blowing past the entire checklist. Did he wait for his turn at the draft table? No. Did he go through the traditional rookie patience model? Please. Did he sit behind a veteran to learn the ropes? Try again. He walked into the NFL like he already owned it. And the Raiders said, perfect. Where do we sign? This move didn't just break records. It broke protocol. And that's what's really scaring the rest of the league. Because if Shedeur succeeds, and all signs are pointing to yes, the blueprint goes up in flames. All of it. Gone. Suddenly you've got elite college QBs saying, why would I wait for the draft when I can negotiate like a free agent? You've got agents watching this unfold like it's the Rosetta Stone of modern sports negotiation. You've got owners asking, can we even afford not to chase talent like this? And let's not pretend this happened in a vacuum. This didn't come out of nowhere. This was calculated. Orchestrated. Shedeur's rise wasn't accidental. It was engineered. By himself. By his team. By his father. Yes, let's talk about Coach Prime for a second. Deion Sanders may not have made this deal directly, but let's be clear. This is his influence at work. This is what happens when a player is raised not just to compete, but to command. To own their space. To walk into any room knowing their value before the room figures it out for themselves. And Shedeur? He's been absorbing that mindset since day one. This is the first time we're truly seeing the Prime effect at the NFL level, and it is terrifyingly effective. He didn't just raise a quarterback. He raised a franchise force. And Vegas understood that. They weren't signing a player. They were investing in a movement. That's why this deal doesn't feel like a one-off headline. Feels like a beginning. So now the spotlight shifts. Not just onto Shedeur, but onto every other team. What are they going to do now? Stick to the old ways? Hope their mid-tier QBs magically blossom into stars while Shedeur's jersey outsells their entire starting lineup? Or do they evolve? Because this deal has already changed what the word rookie means in the NFL. Rookie used to mean raw, learning. Now, rookie might mean marketable, influential, worth $80 million. And let's talk about that money. Because that number, $80 million guaranteed, isn't just a contract. It's a message. It says, we don't care what year you're in. If you're the guy, you get paid like the guy. The rookie salary scale? That's cute. Vegas just made a new scale. It's called Shedeur Money. And you better believe quarterbacks across the nation just added that to their vision boards. And for fans, this changes everything too. Because the game just got more fun. This isn't just about Shedeur's arm. It's about his energy. It's the attitude, the presence, the aura of someone who knows they belong. The pregame fits. The postgame quotes. The social media clips that dominate every feed within seconds. This is what the modern NFL fan wants. A quarterback you can root for on the field and follow off it. And honestly, it's what the NFL needs. This league has been starving for a new kind of superstar. One that doesn't just throw touchdowns but starts movements. We thought it might be someone else. Turns out it's Shedeur Sanders. And now the Raiders have their man. And let's be clear, this isn't going to be smooth sailing. The pressure will be immense. Every throw will be dissected. Every interception will be a trending topic. The haters are already sharpening their tweets. But guess what? That's exactly how Shedeur likes it. He thrives in it. That spotlight? It doesn't blind him, it fuels him. Because unlike most rookies, he's already played under a microscope. He's already been criticized, dismissed, doubted, praised, and polarizing. None of this is new. It's just bigger now. But Shedeur isn't blinking. And neither is Vegas. They built for this, planned for this, cleared space, cleared egos, and said, let's roll the dice. But here's the twist. This time the odds might actually be in their favor. Because in a league still clinging to tradition, the Raiders finally embraced evolution. And when the history books look back at this moment, it won't just be remembered as a bold move. It'll be remembered as the day the NFL took its next step into the future. A future where rookies are leaders. Where presence is as valuable as precision. Where the game isn't just played on Sunday, but everywhere all the time. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not just part of that future. He is that future. So whether you're in awe, in shock, or still refreshing your timeline to make sure this deal is even real, one thing's certain. This just changed everything. We're not just talking about one big contract. We're talking about a move so massive, so disruptive, it's already being whispered about behind closed doors in team meetings and ownership circles like some kind of forbidden football prophecy. Because now every front office exec, every GM who thought they had time, every coach who believed the traditional system still ruled, they're sweating. What? Because Shedeur didn't just break into the league. He broke the door off its hinges, and then signed a multi-million-dollar naming rights deal for the building. Let's get real here. What Vegas just did was the NFL version of pushing all your chips to the center of the table and saying, we bet on him. Not because they had no other options, but because for once they had the guts to look at the future and say, we'll take it now, thanks. The Raiders knew exactly what they were doing. This was chess, not checkers. They didn't just want a new QB. They wanted a new era. And when you're in a city like Las Vegas, where spectacle isn't just expected, it's required, you don't roll out a generic, system-friendly quarterback with a 2-year development timeline. You go big. You go bold. You go Shedeur Sanders. Because Shedeur doesn't walk in hoping for a shot. He walks in expecting to lead. He walks in owning the spotlight. And for a team like the Raiders, who have spent years wandering the NFL wilderness, cycling through identities like they were trying on Halloween costumes, this is the first time in a long time where the direction is crystal clear. Shedeur is the plan. He's the guy. The face. The core. They're not building around him. They're building with him. And that's a critical distinction. Because for decades, NFL teams treated rookies like interns. Carry the clipboard. Watch from the sidelines. Maybe if the stars align, we'll give you a shot in Week 16 against a tanking team. But Shedeur flipped the script. The Raiders didn't bring him in to learn. They brought him in to launch. To shake things up. To turn a stale offense into a media frenzy. To pull this franchise out of the remember them category and back into primetime relevance. Now let's talk legacy for a second. Because if you've followed the Raiders at all, even just through cultural osmosis, you know their identity has always been rooted in swagger, in boldness, in disruption. Al Davis didn't build a safe team. He built a team that dared. And over time that edge dulled. They lost their bite. They lost their icon. They lost their spark. But now they've found something that feels familiar, yet totally new. Shedeur isn't just a flashy young quarterback. He's the perfect extension of what the Raiders used to be. The confidence, the independence, the we'll do it our way attitude that made this team iconic in the first place. It's not just a new chapter. It's a return to form. But let's not get carried away without addressing the stakes here. Because when you sign a rookie for $80 million guaranteed, you don't just raise expectations. You rocket launch them into the stratosphere. Every pass Shedeur throws will be scrutinized. Every pick will be memed. Every soundbite will be analyzed by sports shows, Twitter threads, and TikTokers who suddenly think they're quarterback coaches. The pressure? It's insane. And yet, somehow he looks ready for it. Why? Because this isn't his first dance with fame. He's been walking the tightrope of public perception since high school. He's had cameras in his face since he was old enough to hold a football. And more importantly, he's had Coach Prime in his corner since day one. That can't be overstated. This isn't just football DNA. It's media mastery, passed down like a family heirloom. Shedeur knows how to handle the spotlight because he grew up in it. He knows what to say, when to say it, and how to own a moment. You think he's going to crack because Skip Bayless is yelling on TV? Please. He's already lived through hotter takes and bigger expectations. And he's still standing, smiling in fact. But this isn't just about media savvy. This kid can play. Let's not forget, Shedeur didn't land this deal because of vibes alone. He's got an arm, a brain, the poise of a veteran and the mechanics of a surgeon. He reads the field like a chessboard and moves like he's 2 steps ahead of the defense. This isn't some unpolished prospect with highlight tape and hope. This is a refined quarterback who just happens to come with 5-star media awareness and generational swagger. So yeah, the deal was risky. But smart? Oh, absolutely. Let's break it down. $80 million might sound outrageous. But what if it works? What if Shedeur balls out, sells out stadiums, dominates the AFC West, and turns the Raiders into playoff contenders for the next 10 years? That number suddenly looks like a bargain. Because here's the thing about star quarterbacks in the modern NFL. You don't pay them for what they've done. You pay them for what they represent. Hope, future, momentum, buzz. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is the most buzzworthy rookie we've seen in years. Even his arrival has already paid dividends. Raiders season ticket sales? Surging. Merchandise? Flying off the shelves. Media attention? Unmatched. Vegas didn't just sign a quarterback. They signed a cultural moment. And the timing? Impeccable. This league is evolving, fast. The traditional powerhouses are getting stale. The old faces are aging out. And a new generation of stars is rising, faster, younger, more connected than ever. Shedeur doesn't just fit into that trend. He defines it. So what happens next? That's the fun part. The unknown. The part that has fans obsessively refreshing training camp updates and plotting out win-loss records before preseason even starts. Will Shedeur thrive? Will he choke under the pressure? Will he be the next Mahomes, the next Burrow, or something entirely new? We don't know yet. But that's what makes this moment so powerful. Because for the first time in a long time, the Raiders are back in the conversation. And more importantly, they're steering it. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about identity, influence, control. And right now, the Raiders have it. So here we are, watching the NFL change in real time. Watching a rookie walk into the most high-stakes role in football history, not just with confidence but with command. And whether you believe in Shedeur or you're rooting for him to fail, one thing's for sure, you're watching. And that's exactly the point. Honestly, this whole Shedeur Sanders saga, it feels less like an NFL transaction and more like the season premiere of a prestige drama. We've got betrayal. We've got a hero's rise. We've got a legacy franchise taking the biggest swing in recent memory. And we've got the rest of the league watching from the shadows, wondering if they're witnessing brilliance or witnessing a meltdown in slow motion. But let's be clear, Vegas doesn't care what anyone thinks. They're not interested in your caution. They're not taking polls. They're not waiting for ESPN grades or preseason predictions. They've hit go, and they're not looking back. And here's what makes it all even more iconic. Shedeur Sanders knows exactly what he walked into. He knows the money's loud. He knows the scrutiny's louder. And yet, he's not flinching, not dodging, not deflecting. He's smiling, walking into training camp with that, "yeah, I am him," energy. Because while the league is whispering behind closed doors about salary caps and positional value, Shedeur is busy preparing to own Sundays. And not just on the field. This kid's already poised to be the most marketable rookie in league history. The endorsements, the ads, the documentaries that are definitely already in production somewhere, it's all happening. This is the NFL's next multi-platform superstar, and the Raiders beat everyone to the punch. Now the pressure shifts. Not just to Shedeur but to every other team that sat this one out. Every GM who didn't pick up the phone. Every franchise that clutched its pearls at the thought of a rookie with an ego and a price tag. They're all watching, praying this gamble doesn't work. Because if it does, they weren't just wrong. They were left behind. So yeah, maybe it's risky. Maybe it's flashy. Maybe it's got disaster potential. But if you're the Raiders, who cares? You didn't sign Shedeur Sanders to play it safe. You signed him to change everything. And now, we wait. We watch. We count down the days to kick off like it's the premiere of the most anticipated show of the year. And whether he crashes or soars, you better believe this is going to be must-see football. Don't sit this one out. Is Shedeur Sanders the future, or just a Vegas illusion? Light up the comments with your take. And hey, if you love this kind of chaos, controversy, and quarterback drama, subscribe, tap the bell, and welcome to the new era of the NFL. It's loud, just bold. It's unpredictable, just how we like it.